This is a brief commentary slash response to some of the criticisms of Game of Thrones Season 8. Of course, this is subjective in my own opinions, but I thought I'd comment on it anyway. I've been watching the television programme Game of Thrones since its beginning, though with only one episode left to air of the final season, I thought I'd respond to some of the criticisms I've been seeing of Season 8 so far. Of course, this is subjective in my own opinions, and much of this will likely change within the final episode, though I thought I'd comment on it despite this. Also, a forewarning, there will be spoilers. Yeah, so seemingly people are concerned with some of the actions of certain characters, believing that their recent behaviours have been contrary to their presumed trajectories, their personal story or narrative arcs. First, is this really applicable if we were to invest in the notion that these are complex individuals? Human beings are capable of extreme unpredictability, and surely the writer would be remiss to ignore this. They would be performing a disservice were they to construct characters that were so transparent, so two-dimensional, that their future actions were so easily discernible and predetermined. But yeah, I've witnessed some of these criticisms directed at sort of Daenerys Targaryen and Jaime Lannister in particular. Of the latter of the two, Jaime has spent much of, if not the majority of his life, devoted to his sister Cersei. By comparison, the moments where he rescinded from this could be argued to be the more unpredictable behaviour, the so-called out of character, as it were. Of Daenerys, there seems to be a strong sense within psychology that there is a degree of heritability when concerning certain traits, characteristics, sort of thought patterns and external behaviours. And seemingly there is a recurrent theme within Game of Thrones where there exists the potential for madness within those side from incestuous relationships. And this is very much in keeping with the lineage of Daenerys Targaryen and the sort of Targaryen line, as it were. And but yeah, no, the next sort of criticism was on Jon Snow's seeming lack of empathy towards the direwolf ghost during their parting. I would argue that what he did was of a mature, sort of respectful conduct. Had he sort of doted Ghost with affection, with the intention of not seeing him again, he might have been sending mixed messages and instilling a false sense of the situation. I mean, rarely does a person rejoice when departing from loved ones, potentially on a permanent basis. I think John's decision presumably was to spare Ghost of potential future threats while simultaneously accepting his new responsibilities, offering Ghost the opportunity at a better life. I sort of liken this to the ill-advised feeding of an unfamiliar animal that you would happen upon within the environment. I mean, one, you're unlikely to know said animal's nutritional requirements. Two, the animal may have an owner. And three, sort of the positive reinforcing of an association between a stranger and potential rewards is a dangerous habituation. And Jon Snow sort of showed Ghost this respect, and Ghost similarly was understanding of it. And yeah, so the sort of final point I was going to make was that was on the so-called attack on feminism. The notion that Season 8 had undone the progress of prior seasons with regards to this, seemingly because Brienne of Tarth cried and Daenerys Targaryen exhibited behaviours of immorality, perhaps the result of madness, or, I mean, given Grey Worm's lack of surprise, perhaps it was premeditated, though with a degree of hesitation on her face, I mean, at least with that bell tolling scene. Anyway, despite this, I would counter this argument. To express sort of emotion need not be a sign of weakness, though quite the opposite. Acknowledging sort of the individual history and experiences of these characters can help to explain the outcomes. To suppress, avoid or conceal one's emotions could also be interpreted as weakness. So their emotional states do not diminish their value as women. So I'm not entirely agreeing of that argument. It just shows that they're human beings. Anyway, I've talked for quite some time now, and there's still one remaining episode left, and so this might all change as a result.